This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings. Online at madeformorerealty.com.
So we're back with Daniel Barnes, author of Just Start. Before we get into the newsletter that you wrote, here, hold up your book. It's not a massive tome, right?
No, it is not.
That's like a read when you're sitting there taking a dump.
We got on the back of toilets everywhere.
I'm just saying, hey, you're going to the
Just
bathroom?
start, just enough time for you to take a crap.
Just start.
But on the break, Matt brought up a very, I think, poignant question.
You're having a conversation of, people not doing things in their 20s and waiting till they're in their 50s and 60s.
How old are you, Matt?
I am 47.
So wait until they're a ripe old age of 47 to get started.
But I have found in my life and people that I know that they're apprehensive or nervous or reluctant to really start any project because because they're passionate about it, they're enthusiastic about it. This is something they care about. They want to do well. They want to make it almost perfect if possible. So that's hard to do, That's hard to do. So they're reluctant in getting started because they don't think they're ready to make it what is in their heart or in their mind.
So how do you overcome that? Do you address it in the book or?
Yeah, I don't address that specifically in the book, but I started a newsletter, and that has been probably one of the best things for overcoming that exact issue.
And it's also called Just Start.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. If you go to juststartbook.com, both the book and the newsletter are both linked there. And the reason why I started the newsletter, though, is because when I had the idea, the dream of writing a book, I went, that feels impossible. So what could I do that's easier than that's lower stakes than that I could start that would get me to the point where I went, okay, I know ultimately I want to write a book. Writing a book seems impossible. What's like a mini version of a book? Well, a newsletter. And I went, okay, if I just force myself to write every single week, I know myself, I want things to be good, so I will get better with time. And there's this Mr. Beast-ism, which is if you do something 100 times and each time you do it you focus on just doing one thing better, and you do that 100 times, eventually you will be good. And for me, I'm a year and a half into writing this newsletter. I'm only 78 newsletters in. So I still haven't even hit 100.
Yeah.
So I still am I still have there's more for me to grow in the way that I write. And when I first started, though, I remember thinking to myself, it was December of 2023, almost the beginning of 2024. And I had this dream back in 2021 of becoming an author, but I had taken no action towards it. And I think so many people, to Matt's point, we have this, I want it to be perfect. And because I'm afraid that it won't be perfect, what I do instead is nothing.
Yep.
And that is the biggest.
That's a trap.
It really is, because you ensure that you never get to face the failure of realizing, hey, I'm actually not as good as I thought I was. And I also ensure that I never get to live the life that I long for.
So there's a really good book. What you're saying, have you heard of Dr. Benjamin Hardy?
That sounds really familiar. What's the name of the book?
Well, he's written a ton of stuff. But what he started, what's the online blogging platform?
Medium. Beehive.
He was like the number one guy on Medium for a long time in terms of content.
Oh, this is sounding really familiar.
And he just started in college, and so every single day before class, he would write an article.
Yeah.
And he did that and compounded over time, and now he was like the number one read person on Medium. He's working with Dan Sullivan on a series of books. And what this has to do with what we're talking about is probably they wrote The Gap in the Game, which is a really good book. You and I mentioned it off the air.
Yeah.
And then they wrote 10x is easier than 2x. And my first thought was, hey, that sounds kind of like a ripoff of Grant Cardone's 10x, like they're just riding on his coattails. But somebody suggested it to me, so I'm like, fine, I'll read it. When I say read, I mean listen.
Sure.
I listen on Audible.
Yep.
Like 2x, 3x. And what they covered, they had me out the gate with that book because what they're talking about is Michelangelo.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like what were people doing in their 20s. Well, they cover what Michelangelo was doing in his 20s.
Yeah, literally cutting up cadavers and crazy stuff.
Getting crazy with it. But then allowed him to be able to create these sculptures that were pretty good. And then eventually, he creates like the David and paints the Sistine Chapel and does all this stuff. So it was very interesting. 10X is easier than 2X.
Yeah.
And so anyways, what you're saying is very congruent with like what Benjamin Hardy's been saying for a long time. So it's just interesting to see the parallels.
Yeah. Well, and a part of this is I needed to start somewhere. I was never going to be able to write this book if I didn't write a first something.
Yep.
And a part of it also was that, like, with the book, there were so many people who believed in me more than I believed in me. And I think some of this has been recognizing that all these people who see so much good, they can't all be wrong. And so there was like this critical mass where it's like, I lead the very first chapter, which is technically chapter 0, with an equation that says people greater than sign everything, people over everything. And a part of that is I went back and there are at least 94 people who are integral to getting to the point where this book exists, who believed in me at times in high school, outside of in college, when I was starting my detailing business, and my dad believing in me, like all these people where like you remove one or two of these people at strategic times, and I might not physically be here. And that's something that people who sometimes want to have a perfect product, it's all on them. Like they're having to do that, but if you get started, you're having to rely on other people, which is a beautiful thing. It's a good thing. You're adding their experiences, their perspectives. You look at anybody who's achieved anything of substance, there's been somebody, if not one, multiple people who have helped them along on that journey. Absolutely.
Whether it's Michael Jordan, and we're hearing more about his mom, we're hearing more about his trainer, and if it's somebody that runs a famous company, there's people behind them that help them.
Absolutely.
Have you heard the one about FedEx? About the FedEx founder?
I don't think I have.
So supposedly, I don't know if this is true or not. He liked gambling, and they were down to their last $5,000.
Okay.
And then the company was going to be like, FedEx was going to be gone.
Oh wow.
He went to Vegas and gambled, and he won big, and then that was able to pay their payroll for the next 6 months. Wow. So but my point is not necessarily
not
go to
prescriptive
the Bellagio,
advice.
Not prescriptive. Don't go to the Bellagio and say, hey, this is how you're going to keep your company afloat. But the point is that everybody has these stories where they've had to rely on people outside of them, and by just starting, you are doing that. Yeah.
Well, and it also destroys the lie that it has to be perfect for people to care.
Oh, that's true.
And the truth is that when I put out my first newsletter, I went, wow, I can't believe this. Nobody cares. Yeah. And all this pressure I put on myself of it has to be perfect. Literally no one saw it. And now it's so old. It's a year and a half old. Unless someone decides to go all the way back to the oldest first, which I actually still like that newsletter. It's on how I started a service-based business. But no one really read it. And that's actually a beautiful thing, is the first thing that you put out, probably no one's really going to see it. And that's actually like kind of freeing to go, I can do this. And in the grand scheme of life, no one really cares.
Nobody really cares. So take the pressure off.
Yeah.
What is it? That famous phrase, when you're in your 20s, you care about what other people are thinking about. When you're in your 40s, you don't care about what other people are thinking about you. And when you're in your 60s,
ain't nobody thinking about you.
Nobody was thinking about you in the first place, And so that sometimes it just takes age to give that perspective. But like I have at the time of this recording, over 5,600 posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just a drop in the bucket. Nobody cares. I have over 2,000, close to 3,000 videos on YouTube. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So it's going to take more activity. And then two, don't worry about when you start, because really, nobody's really watching.
Yeah. And that, especially for guys who are in their 20s going, this really matters.
Yeah.
It's
passionate about it.
Yeah. And it does matter. And making it each thing better than the last one does matter. But the outcome is not within my control. What I do control is the input. And so much of what I've optimized for in my life now is going, how intentional can I be with the inputs? Because the newsletter is actually a direct output of what I'm consuming. So 2 weeks ago, I'm in Hungary and I'm going to a modern art museum in Budapest. And that's intentional, where I'm consuming beautiful things. Someone who has taken a tremendous amount of time, effort, and energy to create a beautiful space, because I know that consuming things that are beautiful will actually have the outputs of my newsletter, of the content that I'm creating, of the life that I'm building. It will actually be reflective of what I'm taking in.
You have a great phrase. Was it beautiful inputs?
Yeah, beautiful inputs create beautiful outputs.
I like that.
And I mean, that was really a reflection from being at 2 different museums in both Prague as well as in Hungary and in Budapest specifically, and walking through the Four Seasons. It's kind of crazy to say, but I've been in 4 different Four Seasons hotels in the last 3 months. And just the level of detail, I've read a book on the Four Seasons and how they've created such a beautiful space. But that actually does affect me. Like, I notice that being in beautiful spaces like museums, like the Four Seasons, and looking at the architecture of these cathedrals in Europe, like it has an effect. And I'm so grateful to be in a position to be able to experience these things. And when I'm on YouTube, I'm going, am I consciously consuming content that is beautifully made? Am I consuming incredible storytelling? Am I consuming movies that are by these really well-known directors? Because all of these inputs are going to directly affect the newsletter, what I'm thinking about. And so being aware of the audiobooks that I'm listening to, like all of these things, they're creating something in my internal world.
Mm-hmm. It's the analogy of mud or dirt in a water glass, right? Like, if you just put like a little bit of dirt in a water glass, how much water do you have to then pump through that glass to remove all the dirt, to re-purify the water? And our brains are the same way.
Yeah.
I'm with you. So like Valerie and I, my wife and I, we do not watch like anything that has like a negative tone. Like if we're watching something and it used to be like, oh, there's like a puppy dies or there's a childhood illness, we instantly turn it off. You know, like life's too short. And I don't want those inputs. I prefer to have like a beautiful input, as you're describing.
Yeah.
So we are short on time.
Sure.
We're going to have you back, man. We got to talk about the mobile detailing business next time and how you lived in Ecuador for 77 days.
Yes, sir.
But in the meantime, what is the best way, one more time, for them to find your book, Just Start?
Yeah. So if you go on Amazon and just type in Just Start, it's a green cover. And so you can also go to juststartbook.com. That's actually where my newsletter is, and you can also get the book there. And then if you want to check out my mobile detailing business and you're in Sacramento, that's just Barnes Detailing, BAARNS.
So if you're in Budapest, you're not going to detail
Yeah,
the car.
no, I'm not. Although I did see there was this sick car on, I did take a picture that I'll have to post of like a car with some really sick rims with like a cathedral in the background, and I was like, this is such like a cool juxtaposition of like modern and old at the same time. So there was that moment.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking the time and being on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're anything like me, you are worn out. Life is just so tiring. You've got so much on your plate. Your schedule is full. You don't have time to do open houses and showings and doing those repairs on your home to get it ready for sale. That's why our friend Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty, he's got this special offer for you. Not one, not two, but at least 3 cash offers on your home. And listen to this, it's an as-is condition. So that's right, no need to do organizing, no need to do open houses or staging or any of those costly repairs. He'll get you at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition, so you can be done. Simple, easy, quick. So what do? You just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty. Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty. He's got a great team that's going to help you every single step of the way. That's why they have so many great reviews. In fact, they have a 5-star Google rating with over 1,000 reviews. So go check them out. It'll be well worth your time. Again, just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty, Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty, and get more for your home.